ABA therapy right for autistics? Today we're debating ABA therapy for autistic intervention. ABA is reported to be a scientifically backed, mom-approved method. But what are really the cost and benefits of this? It seems to me to have dubious goals of attempting to make an autistic into a non-autistic. This simply does not work and leads to a lot of frustration. It does seem to align with the mother's goals of getting a child to act more normally. From a parent's perspective, it teaches children to be more normal. And more normal is the line for judging the success of the program. It teaches skills, social skills, life skills, and it provides training for parents so that they can reinforce the ABA therapy even when the therapist is not there. However, it leads to punishments for being autistic. So is it beneficial? From a doctor's perspective and a mother's perspective, I suppose yes. The idea behind ABA therapy is that the psychological behavior is learned and can be changed by conditioning. It's the sort of ring a bell and the dogs know food is coming, condition, condition, condition. It's data driven by tracking. Does associate behavior with consequences. It does provide routine, produces some social change, repetitive movement is decreased, and shows a reduction in other unwanted behavior like stimming. But it can be horrible for an autistic. It is not affirming of who the autistic is. It has a history of punishment, including electric shocks. It is an attempt to cure, not to support. An autistic who has undergone ABA therapy reports anxiety and trauma, even as an adult. It sadly teaches them to ignore internal states, learn lack of consent, and is a step toward abuse because they have learned and been taught compliance to any authority figure. This is a manipulated thing that abusers use. ABA is accused of having abusive methods. 20 to 40 hours a week. Punishment for autistic tics, traits, and stimming. This is a forced exhaustion of masking. Can you imagine having to mask 40 hours a week? Modern ABA focuses more on positive reinforcement. But even at that, the energy necessary to mask is tremendous for these children. And still, 63% of autistics who have experienced the new ABA consider it a bad experience. The old ABA is even worse, with 89% speaking of it as a bad experience. So in summary, the good news is the child stims less and has other autistic traits minimized. And at perhaps 5 years old, that looks good. But if you had ABA, very soon at 23, you may be sitting on a couch with a therapist discussing your trauma over ABA. So it looks good at 5, but they cry at 23. If you had ABA, good or bad, give your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe, and remember, you were born different to make a difference. Offer the necessary sacrifices to the algorithm God. Thank you.